Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Keeneland Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 4th of April, 2026. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from Keeneland, but before I get on to that, remember to follow me on X at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action here on Bluegrass Day from Keeneland. We're gonna be looking at races 7 through 11. So an all stakes pick five here. Seventh race from Keeneland. It is the Commonwealth Stakes. It's a grade three event going for a $350,000 purse. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs in the Commonwealth. Going to take the 3-horse track mate as a top selection. 3527 for me in the superfecta. 3527 super. Top selection 3-horse track mate. The 6-year-old horse by Union Rags. George Arnold trains. Axel Concepcion gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 7th of February at Tampa, 6 furlongs in the Pelican, and he finished second by 2 lengths. He's a horse that has a lot of forwardly pace. He sat back early, a little bit in the wider path late, but he was gaining some ground. I think off the bench, it wasn't a half bad race. He improves with an extra furlong. Coming here to Keeneland, where he's had success under his belt, I think he could get the job done and find the winner's circle again today. He ran closing day at Churchill back in the fall, 1 mile in the Cherokee Mile, and he finished 7 by 7 lengths that day. The race came up very nice the last 2 years. I think it was only in his second running, but both runnings have come up nice against some tough horses last fall. He just stalked and completely hit the wall. It just wasn't his day to win. I just thought he got beat by better horses on the day. And then a Keeneland off the year and a half bench, 6 furlongs option 100, winning by 1 1/4 lengths that day. He sat back early, but he moved his way into the race. He got the job done. A very good race with an 88 buyer for it being his first start since 22nd of June of 2024. That came at Churchill, 6 furlongs and option 100, finishing fourth by 4 1/4 lengths. He didn't break, and that was basically it. Something must have won a miss because you didn't see the horse for a year and a half after that. But he's come back here to Keeneland, training well, back in some stakes quality horses. 12 to 1, I think he could upset. I think it's going to, suit up for a closer that's going to have a wide trip like he will. I think the 5-horse National Identity for Danny Gargan and Joel could get a trip also. And New York bred facing open company here ran most recently in the safe Florida Sandy at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs in mid-February, where she won by 1 3/4 lengths, and on the front end, she really came home clear. She ran prior to an open allowance race at Aqueduct going 6.5 right after the New Year, won by 4.5 lengths, again on dueling on the front end. That was a good race. Guess what? She's a winner of her last 4, or his last 4, winning an optional 45 in early November at Aqueduct and winning on the 20th of September at Aqueduct quite easily. Had a bit of a bad luck as a 2-year-old and into the early 3-year-old campaign last year, but at the end of the 3-year-old campaign into this 4-year-old campaign, this horse has really showed up a lot. It's going to be the biggest test for him keeping up with these open companies and coming to the Midwest for the first time. But I think at 9 to 2, he has a logical chance of winning. I'm going to use him on the ticket. Even the 2-horse Crazy Mason, Gregory Siako doesn't have great numbers off the bench, but this horse had a decent season last year, capped off with a Carter handicap winner at Aqueduct last year. I'll give him a shot on the ticket, but I do prefer the other 2 before him. But to recount my selection for the 7th now from Keeneland, it is the Commonwealth. Going to take the 3-horse track mate. Give kudos to the 5-horse National Identity and the 2-horse Crazy Mason. 3527 super. We're going to go 352 in the pick 5 to get it off. Let's head over to race number 8 now. The 8th race from Keeneland. It is the Appalachian Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse of $500,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 11 horses going 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 8 horse, Line Lake. 8-10-5-9 for me in the superfecta. 8-10-5-9 super. Top selection 8-horse Lion Lake. This 3-year-old filly by Dark Angel. Brendan Walsh trains. John Velasquez gets the leg up. They ran the horse most recently in the Here Comes the Bride at Gulfstream, 1 mile on the 20th of February, and it was a success for this horse. Winning by a head that day from a tracking trip. She sat back early. She moved her way on the inside on that narrow turf course, and she got through. Grinded out to the wire at 11.5 to 1 upsetter. It was a good race. 86 buyer, refreshed here. That number can really keep up with these horses. I think the Brendan Walsh's horses also run a little better here at Keeneland than they do at Gulfstream. I think this horse can improve a lot and get the job done here today. Ran 2 back at Gulfstream, 7.5 in the main special weight back in late January, and she won by 3/4 length that day. She had a bit of a wide trip that day. She grinded it out to the wire, closing up well, winning with a 76 buyer. Again, a very good race. And then at Gulfstream right before Christmas, mile 16th in the main special weight, off the bench, finished third by half a length. Not the best beginnings, was a little bit wide, just need something more. Her race here in the fall wasn't bad at all, going 5.5 in the main specialweight, and second by 2 3/4 lengths, and she had a very troubled trip. You have to have good trips going on in these turf sprints at Keeneland, and she just didn't have that early on. She gained a lot of ground late, but, she if you just go off of that run to her later run, she's really improved a lot since then. Coming here at 9-2, I think she can make it 3 in a row. I think the 10 horse, Imagination the Lady for, Brendan Walsh and Tyler, the save mate for this one. I think she should also find a trip also. She won on debut at Kentucky Downs going a mile, came back to win the Jessamine in the fall here, and had an okay Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies turf race where she had a bit of a bumpy trip. She moved a little bit late, but she wasn't going to catch the winner, definitely. Coming here off the bench, training well in South Florida and here at Keeneland. I'll give her a shot in the pick five here, and even the 5 horse Coca Motion for Withworth Beckman. The race on debut at Tampa wasn't bad at all. Came back to run an okay race in Florida Oaks, where I thought she needed something more. I hopefully with a bit of a quicker pace, she could find that trip on the outside to close up into 6-1. I'll use her on the pick five ticket. But to recap my selection for the eighth from Keelan now, it is the Appalachian. I'm going to take the 8 horse Line Lake. Give kudos to the 10 horse Imagination, the Lady, and the 5 horse Coca Motion, 8-10, 5-9 Super, 8-10, 5 in the multi race. The ninth events now from the ninth race from Keeneland. It is the Madison Stakes. It's a Grade 1 event going for $650,000 purse. Race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs in the Madison. The distance of the day at Keeneland, 7 furlongs, it seems. I'm going to go with the 4 horse Ragtime as top selection. 4-1-3-6 in the superfecta. 4-1-3-6 Super, top selection of 4 horse Rag Time. Said Rag Doll like the Frankie Valli and Four Seasons song, but one of my favorite songs, by the way. But Ragtime, this 4-year-old filly by Union Rags here. Belmont trains John Blasquez against the mounts. They ran the horse most recently on the 15th of November at Churchill, the 1 turn mile in the Grade 3 Chaluki, and she finished third by 3 3/4 lengths that day. She came from mid pack that day. She moved a little bit late. Her race in the Raven Run was just a little bit better, but she ran okay. Coming here back to Keeneland, time between races, I think she could find a trip to win and find that pace to close up into. They ran flying up front in the Raven Run 2 back here. 7 furlongs, 18th of October, and she finished third by half length. Not that those beginnings was basically last down the backstretch, but gained a lot of ground late. If the race was that about 7 furlong trip that they run here at Keeneland, horse probably would have won, but she gained ground. She ran her heart out that day. And then the Dogwood at Churchill, 7 furlongs, 20th of September, winning by 2 1/4 lengths, coming from mid pack. Again, not the best beginnings, but she really closed up well. A very good race. Her race in the test, okay, wasn't the world's deepest test stakes we've had, but she finished second by a neck, and she just got caught at the wire, but she ran her heart out with a 96 buyer. Since debuting last June at Saratoga, this horse has done a lot, very well. Coming here 5-1, I think she can win. I think the 1 horse Ecatant for Brad Fox and Iraq can win also. Was winner at Goldstrom going 6.5 and optional 6-2 back in mid-February. Won by 2 3/4 lengths with a 104 buyer. That was impressive. Her race prior to that in the Leslie's Lady at Churchill going 7 back in June. She finished fourth by 8 1/4 lengths that day, and she just never really got going. Her 8 bells race prior to that, she just kind of came flat, but she won the Forward Gal. The biggest question with her is, can she run outside of Goldstrom? Her biggest race would have come at Goldstrom, and she has won on this track as a 2-year-old, but then when she faces tougher horses in the Midwest, she just kind of, crumbles. 4-1 off a decent race. I'll give her a shot, but I'm not as excited about her as I am with Ragtime. And I think 3 horse Clico, she's a nice horse here. She won the Indiana Oaks, came back to win the Cotillion at 5.5-1, and then just ran disappointingly in the Brewer's Cup. I do like her claim back and trip back to a track she's won on. I'll give her a shot on that pick five ticket. That's going to be very nice here. But to recap my selection for the ninth now from Keeneland, it is the Madison, the Grade 1 Madison. Going to take the 4 horse Ragtime. Give kudos to the 1 horse and the 3 horse Clico. 4-1-3-6 Super, 4-1-3 in the multi race to the 10th event now from Keeneland. The 10th race from Keeneland, it is the Shakertown Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a $400,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 14 horses entered, but 12 could go to the turf course, the 1,100-meter journey, or 5.5 furlongs in the Shakertown. Going to take the 2 horse My Boy Prince as a top selection. 2, 8, 9, 10 for me in the superfecta. 2, 8, 9, 10 super. Top selection 2 horse My Boy Prince is 5-year-old by Cairo Prince. Mark Cassie trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently in the Lightning City Turf Dash at Tampa, excuse me, in Tampa Turf Dash, Furlong's 14th of February. And the horse won by a neck that day. Came from mid pack. She saved some ground. She quickened up nicely, had to grind it out to the wire, but the horse finally did. Won by a neck that day with a 99 bar. That was a very good race. Coming here to Keeneland, turf sprinting for the first time, has never won on this turf course. But painting the tactics comes to a turf sprint. Should he pays the close up and doing drawn very well. I think this horse can improve. Ran two back in the Gulfstream Park turf sprint at Gulfstream, 5 furlongs on Pegasus weekend. Finished third by a neck, and it was an all-around finish late. Litigation just had the jump on him, but this horse closed up well. Not a bad race. They ran the horse prior to that in the Canadian International for the mile and a half, where the horse finished 10th by 6 5 1/4 lengths, and just basically did nothing. Absolutely nothing that day. When the Woodbine Mile prior to that, where they let the horse go on the front end, Noble Speech caught this horse, but this horse ran his heart out at 20 to 1 that day, or 9.5 to 1. Ran the 4-star day prior to that, where again the horse almost got caught in the lane, and then in the Highlander at Woodbine over the 6, he finished second by a neck, and he just got caught at the wire. When they switched this horse from routing to turf sprinting last season, this horse's buyers have jumped up a lot. Coming here at 6 to 1, starting off the campaign in Kentucky, I think he could win. Love the 8-horse litigation also. Ran at Gulfstream in the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint back in January, where the horse won by a neck that day, grinding it out from mid pack. A very good race. Came back to win the Silks Run from a track and trip with a 102 buyer. Has run once on this turf course and had a decent place here back in the autumn last year. Very lightly raced against stakes quality horses, but has done everything right other than that. Coming here 4 to 1, it wouldn't surprise me. I'll use him on the late pick 4 or late pick 5 ticket. But to recount my selection now for the 10th from Keeneland, it is the grade 2 Shakertown. Going to take the 2-horse My Boy Prince. Give kudos to the 8-horse litigation. 2, 8, 9, 10 Super. 2, 8 in the multi race. Let's head over to the nightcap. The featured 11th race from Keeneland. Featured 11th race from Keeneland. It is the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a $1.25 million purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 9 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 in the Bluegrass. Going to take the 2-horse Class President as a top selection. 2614 for me in the superfecta. 2614 Super. Top selection 2-horse Class President. This 3-year-old colt by Uncle Mo. Tom Pletcher trains. John Blasquez, the veteran, gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently in the Rebel at Oaklawn, mile 16th on the 1st of March, and the horse went by a nose that day. And he stalked the pace that day, and it was pretty good fractions. He quickened up nicely in the lane off of them, and he was almost going to get caught by Silent Tactic in the lane. But this horse, he fought back. He got the job done, gaming it to the wire. 91 buyer. I thought it was a good effort. He's going to have to improve quite a few buyer points again to win, but he's been improving with every single race, and I think he could get a mid-90 buyer. They definitely win against these horses here today. He ran 2 back at Gulfstream 31st January, 7 furlongs in the swale. Over a trip probably he doesn't like. He finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. He sat back early. He moved a little bit late. 88 buyer in defeat. Not a bad race, even though I said it's shorter trip than he wants, but still a good run. And then on debut, right after Christmas at Gulfstream, 1 turn mile in the main special weight, won by 3 1/4 lengths from a tracking trip. He really came home clear. He's training well at Palm Beach since his most recent race, getting 2 turns again, mile and 1/8. Really doesn't need the lead. I think he can improve and get the job done. I think if he wins, he's going to be your second choice in the Derby. He's a 6-horse further ado for Brad Cox and Irad. His race in the Tampa Derby wasn't bad at all. Mile 16th on the 7th of March, where he finished second by 3/4 length down the Puma, who ran a terrific race in the Florida Derby and defeat after that. This horse, he sat back early, really ran his heart out in the lane, got caught by the Puma late, who just outgamed this horse from the back of the pack. But this horse, off the bench, ran well. Coming here second off the bench back to Keeneland, where this horse ran very well in the past. This horse can improve a lot. Ran the Kentucky Jockey Club prior to that of the mile 16th at Churchill back in late November, where the horse by 1 3/4 lengths come from mid-pack. A very good clear victor that day. And then a maiden special weight here going mile 16th in October. Start around 2 turns. This horse put on a show, winning by 20. He kept going. Some still say he's still running and is still winning off of that run. That was a very, very good race. He's training it well, pacing since his last race. He got beat by a very good horse, ran a very good race right after that. Coming here at 8 to 5. No, it's a crap price, but he's very likely winner. If he wins today, like I said, probably be your second or third choice in the Derby. Most likely second, I think. But to recount my selection for the 11th now from Keeneland, it is the Bluegrass Stakes. Going to take the 2-horse class president, give kudos to the 6-horse Further Ado, 2614 Super, 26 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.